Let me get this out of the way here. Get that out of the way. And get this set up. Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, SGYP, nice strong close, but we'll see if that can carry over next week. I'm really not expecting any news today after the close, but all right, we're all set up here. Matter of fact, I haven't seen any news come across. I wonder if these guys are even doing anything right now. I haven't seen any news come over in a while here. Okay. So, yesterday it was funny because we had, a couple of days of pulling back in the markets, and it was like watching the financial shows. It was like, the end of the world. I still think we're going to get that Santa Claus rally. Everyone's talking about the fact that we've already pulled it all forward. But, what was being a little sneaky today was the IBB was being a little sneaky today. So we'll get to that in a second here. But, look, before I get started, just so I don't forget, I want everybody to have a fantastic holiday season. Be safe, have fun, stay warm, enjoy the family, whatever. Hey, one. Seriously, man. I appreciate all of you. We're going to have a lot of good things coming up in the new year. I promise to do everything I can to make the service better. So that is my goal for next year, and I look forward to being with you all next year. So, all right, that's that. Let's go ahead and get started here. So I just happened to look this up because I saw a headline on it. Mallinckrodt enters into an equity purchase agreement, and it looked like the purchase agreement, they bought these shares significantly lower, like around a buck and change, if I read it correctly. So, it is flirting with potentially a 6 test, but I'm not all that crazy about it. This ATRS held up really well. I think this was on our list. It was on our list of stocks to watch this week. AQXP also had a nice little bounce today. Oh, no, that didn't just happen. It did happen. Hold on a second. Let me get this stuff back. So AQXP also had a nice little bounce today. And so, I'm already kind of putting together my list for next week. And by the way, speaking of that, I won't be doing the stocks to watch on Sunday. I will be looking to do that on Monday, 8 a.m. Monday morning. I will look to do the Ticker TV stocks to watch. So, little programming note there. So let's just take a look at how we finished out the week here. We did manage to bounce back above the 8 EMA in the NASDAQ, and we are still in consolidation mode. We could very easily get that Santa Claus rally next week. We'll see what happens. Some interesting stuff going on with the president-elect, right? With this Lockheed Martin and Boeing. I mean, pretty interesting stuff happening here. I think it's going to be a very interesting presidency. I'll tell you that. I don't think it's going to be dull, right? That's for sure. So, NASDAQ consolidating, right? We've been consolidating. This is good, healthy action. Let's see how we close out the year. I think some people are kind of anticipating that we're going to get a pullback. Gold, still, it did work its way over this trend line here, but still below the 8 EMA, looking like a bear flag. The same thing with GDXJ, same thing with GDX, right? Still looks like a bear flag. We'll see which way this resolves, if we get a snapback or if we get a breakdown, but I'm kind of leaning towards the breakdown. JNUG, Nugget, still looking pretty weak. And below the 8 EMA. 8 EMA, it does appear, though, could be flattening out. We'll see. We'll see what happens next week. So the IBB, this is what I mean. This was showing a little strength today, right? Showing a little strength. I mean, and on rising volume over the last couple of days. So that was kind of interesting. Managed to close up above the 21 EMA, right? And what's been a really beaten down sector. So remember, we talked about how a lot of times you'll get that end of year tax loss selling, and then you'll get some repositioning into the new year. And what's been a really beaten down sector has been the biotech. So maybe starting to get some repositioning starting. I found that action pretty interesting today. We'll see if that can follow through next week. IWM had a little bit of a bounce. I mean, it is trying to hold on to, it's still closed below the 8 EMA, but it is trying to hold above this 21 EMA. Let's look at the IYT. Transportation still looks pretty darn good. Just consolidating, holding on to that 21 EMA. I mean, Labu had a little stealth move, and that was a pretty good range today. I missed it, but nice range in Labu today. So we'll keep an eye on that for next week, see if we get some follow through. Let's take a look at the SMH consolidating right here at right above 73 bucks, right? But it still looks very healthy, right? And like DK said, NVIDIA had a very impressive day. So, was it MU? What did MU do today? MU pierced the upper Bollinger Band, consolidating, working its way back towards the Bollinger Band, working its way back into the Bollinger Band. Does have this gap to fill, but semi's still looking pretty strong. S&P 500 right on top of the 8 EMA, consolidating, tighter candles. Still looks pretty good to me. All right, let's take a look at USO. Consolidating, holding on to the 8 EMA. Let's see what the dollar did today. Consolidating. It's been the theme all week, consolidating, right? Not a big trend either direction. UVXY had that little bounce yesterday, pull back today. Still no fear out there. VIX, I mean, it does kind of look like a bear flag, so I don't know. We'll see. Aerospace, so you would have thought aerospace defense would have had a more significant move today after this stuff that Trump is doing between Lockheed and Boeing, but actually held up fairly well. XBI, biotech, we already talked about it. Home builders, little bit of a pull, but still maintaining a position above the 200-day moving average. If it breaks below 34, maybe that gets a little concerning there for home builders, but you know, holding on to that 200-day moving average. Materials, holding on to the 21 EMA and holding on to $50. We'll see what happens next week. I mean, just consolidating. Energy, look at that, like barely any movement at all. I mean, it's really tightened up here. Financials, same thing. Consolidating. I mean, could all of this break down hard next week? It could. I just, you know, I don't see that happening, but you never know. Industrials, nice tight candle, still in consolidation, just over the 21 EMA. Utilities in consolidation mode too. Healthcare, little bounce today. BMY is flirting with $60. It looks like it wants to take out $60. Nice, yeah. The upper volume band working its way back in, consolidating, and it looks like it's, you know, building up some energy before it goes to try and take out this trend line here. Remember, you still got this big gap on the daily to fill. I think BMY wants to head back over 60. I think it wants to get back over that trend line. Consumer discretionary, a little bit of weakness today, and then I think retail was weak again today too. Metals and mining actually trying to hold on to 31. Oil exploration, same thing, consolidation. Not a lot of range. Yeah. So retail not looking so good, man. Right? Not looking so good. Looking like it's going to come down and test the 44 mark, which is right around where the 200-day moving average is. That is our next area for potential support. Maybe a bounce there. Breaks below the 200-day. Probably not going to be real good for retail. So, you know, there wasn't any major indicator that came out and said, geez, we got to bail, and we didn't get any run, but let's see what happens next week. Let's see if we get that Santa Claus rally. You know, I still think that is on the table. So let's see what else. So let's take a look at this SGYP that we talked about this morning. Nice pop. Look where it ended. It popped right up into this trend line, right? Good volume, good relative volume. Actually, that was huge volume, right? 32 million shares traded hands today. Good volume, closed right at the high of the day, right at this trend line resistance. Let's ignore this one candle here. That was a gap off of the last news that it had, and then it faded for the entire day, right? But now here we are right back at this trend line again. You know, I would not be surprised if we got a red to green move, take out 6, maybe go back up and test 630 next week. I went through all of my alerts today, and cleaned those out and got rid of some of the charts that have either broken down or they broke out and no longer looking for a play in them, but went through all that, cleaned that all out. Bottom line is, I think the Bulls are still in control. And I think we're like, I have faith that we are going to close out the year on a positive note. That's my thought. So I'm still very much in the bullish camp. I do not see any news at all whatsoever. I think everybody's gone. Right? I haven't seen any news since 12:05. So you guys seeing anything after market that is getting a little action? We can take a look here real quick. See if anything is moving. You guys are hardcores, man. You guys stick in. That's so cool. All right, after hours. Like, apparently there's nothing going on after hours. What's up? There's no stocks moving. Everything is just shut down. Yeah, I don't see anything. Everything's shut down. So look, let's see what happens next week. I still think we want to pay attention to. I think we still want to pay attention to that uranium sector, right? Let's see what happens over the weekend. Let's see what kind of stuff develops. But that's pretty much it, man. I'm still bullish, and we'll see how it plays out next week. We just got to make sure that happens, DK. All right, gentlemen, have a fantastic weekend. Enjoy your holiday. Enjoy your family. And I will see you all. I'll see some on Monday for the pre-market, or not pre-market, but stocks to watch for next week. And the rest of you, I'll just see on Tuesday in the chat room. Merry Christmas. All right, be safe.